Okay, good morning, everybody, and Hazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning as we are wrapping up Parashat Tissa. You know, my friends, there's a very interesting Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. Please pay attention. If you're taking notes, it's going to be found on page 105, Daf Kuf Hey Amud Bet, side B. And the Gemara tells us, Kach umanuto shel Yetzer Hara. We need to know how the Yetzer Hara works. Yetzer Hara, very strategic, very smart, very calculated, very wise in how he gets a person to fall. You know, Yetzer Hara, and if we can know how he works, we can be very, very careful in trying to beware of what he's about to do. Says the Gemara, Hayom, today, Omer lo aseh kach. He'll come and tell you, just do this sin. Ulmachar, and then tomorrow, next week, he'll come, Omer lo aseh kach, and then he'll tell you to do that other sin. And then the next week, come tell you to do another sin. And he keeps pushing the envelope, and then one day, Omer lo lech avod avodat kochavim. And once he gets you into this habit of listening to him and slowly declining, slowly falling, then he'll come and he'll get you to do avodah zarah. But that's his goal. His goal is today, every single one of us should do avodah zarah. That's what he wants. He's not going to stop here. Today he's going to tell you to do this, but this is not what he cares about. But he needs you to do this, to commit to here, so that next week he could get you here, to here, to here, to here, until all of a sudden the guy's doing avodah zarah. So as an example, a kid comes back from yeshiva, a girl comes back from seminary, and they're super excited about life and God, and they're on a high, and everything that they say is Baruch Hashem, and Bezrat Hashem, and I love Hashem, right? Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. And Yetzer Hara is like, okay, we gotta get working on this case right here. Too much Hashem's going on. We gotta work on them. So what is he gonna do to this guy? What's he gonna do to this girl? It's time to go do avodah zarah. Go to the church. Go bow down. They're not gonna do it. So Hayom, he comes and says, listen, I gotta get this person to start eating tarif. How do I do it? Okay, I got it. Have this not kosher food. It's actually not even not kosher, it's just parv. Just parv. He is a Jew holding on this very high level. Have something, a little bit, not tarif, it's just parv. But there's just no OU. But what could there be in it anyways? just a salad. It's just vegetables. It's just a fruit. This is right. And okay, that's really technically is halakha, okay, no problem. And it is, maybe the halakha allows such a thing, whatever the case is. And then, when they're on the next level, now he could already make this level a little bit easier for them to swallow. He says, you know what? Why don't you just get the fish? The fish, what's fish? We know fish, double wrap the fish, and you put it in the oven, But now he already got you to get comfortable with going to, a not kosher restaurant. Now, a few weeks later, now all of a sudden having the pasta is not so far from what you're doing. But again, pay attention. If you would have told the guy 6 months ago, go eat pasta in a not kosher restaurant, they would say you're out of your mind. But they're already now comfortable going to a not kosher restaurant, eating only kosher things that are double wrapped on their own dishes. Then he'll tell them, get the fish. Then they'll get the pasta. Now add some cheese. What's cheese? It's just cheese. And then cheese becomes meat, becomes pork, becomes Yom Kippur, becomes getting rid of everything. You understand? So it's very important actually for somebody to remember when they are on a very high level in a certain area, that the Yetzer Hara, he's going to ask us for something, but he's not going to stop there. He's going to want us to commit all the way over here. And how important it is not to give in on that level, not to give in on that small thing. Right? Refer back to we're not going to say the mashal, but the famous mashal of the inch. Very important to stay committed and strong, not to give in even on 1 inch. That is what the Yetzer Hara does. Many times a person's trying to, attack or take advantage of somebody else. And we know that if we're going to tell them, come and do this, They're never going to listen. So we tell them one small thing at a time. Just hold my hand. Just a little bit of a hug. A little bit of a kiss. A little bit of that. A little bit of this. And then we keep pulling. And we're all the way doing the worst possible sins. Okay? That's the derech of the Yetzer Hara. And by the way, what's true for sinning is equally true for mitzvot. If that's how we fall, slowly, and therefore be careful not to give in, and even on an inch, we have to remember that that's also how we climb. We climb one step at a time. So if, as an example, you have a person eating not kosher, the way to get them out of that, the way for that person to grow would be, don't go from 0 to 60, but to slowly work just maybe this week, no pork. And then as they get comfortable on that level, no meat, and then no dairy, and then fish, and salad, and then parv, and then Baruch Hashem. It's not going to happen. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, when he became the Rabbi of the community and everyone was Mechalel Shabbat, desecrating Shabbat, what do you think he said to them? All right, guys, make sure you don't brush your hair on Shabbat anymore. You think he gave them that halacha? Well, Rabbi, I didn't even know that was a thing. Right? Okay, fine, whatever. But you think he told them the most extreme halacha? No way. He said, you're going to break Shabbat, do it with your left hand. That's what he told them. Do it, but do it with your left hand. And they slowly, left hand became, half a hand became once, deoraitas, the rabbanans. Of course, very important for us to speak. A person that's trying to get off, trying to lose weight. Same exact thing. Eating all of this stuff. There's no way you're going to get down to eating, just, celery and, lettuce all day. But we work slowly. Cut out the snacks at midnight. Then we'll cut out the ice cream. Then we'll cut out dinners after 8 p.m. Then we'll cut out, all the unnecessary carbs and sugars, right? This is the way to grow and to succeed in life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'hakol niyeh bara. Okay, very nice. This is the Gemara Masechet Shabbat. Comes along with Chaim Shmulevitz and says, if that's the case, we have a big problem. We opened our Perashat, where we just read yesterday about Chet HaEgel, Perashat Ki Tissa. In chapter 32, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe, God's on the mountain, he's giving Torah to Moshe. Moshe is on cloud 9, literally, and he's excited, and he's in love, and he's so, oh my God, life can't get any better than this, I'm learning Torah with Hashem. He's on such a spiritual level, he doesn't need to eat or drink or sleep for 40 days and 40 nights straight. Okay, so that's the level of spirituality that Moshe is on. And all of a sudden God says, whoa, time out, Moshe, we got to end this session short, and it's time for you to go down. Lech red. Because your nation that you brought out of Egypt has acted corruptly. Saru maher min haderech. They have strayed quickly from the path. They've done for them an idol. They're bowing to it. They're sacrificing to it. And they're even saying, and they're saying that this is the God that took them out of Egypt. Moshe, quickly, you're needed down there. And this is unbelievable. You're talking about a nation that's all the way up here, okay? As inspired as it gets, that they were able to say, Ze Eli ve'anvehu. This is our God. They saw levels of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They saw levels of prophecy that even the greatest prophet Yechezkel didn't even see in his visions. They saw unbelievable things in their connection with Yam Suf and walking out of Egypt and the high that they were on with God. And all of a sudden, just weeks later, you went from here to here. Shortcut. Ask for Chaim, how does that happen? How is that even possible? It's not possible. There's a rule. The rule is you got to go slowly, increments. It's has got to take a person down one step at a time. You can't pull him down all the way from 60 to 0. It's impossible. First it tells you this, then this, then this, then this. And yet here, the rules went out the window. The Yetzirah said to go from here to here. How? How did that happen? Saru maher, fast. How did the Jews fall so fast? Again, just going back to our mashal, a boy, girl coming back from Israel, very, very inspired. You don't expect them the next day that they should be all the way down over here. But that's what happened with the Jewish people. They fell very, very fast. How did that happen? Answers Rav Chaim Shmulevitz. Because the people, there's one exception to the rule. There's one exception, there's one scenario where the Yetzer Hara is able to take a shortcut and pull a person down faster than ever. And that is when a person is in a state of Yeush, depression, anxiety, sadness. When a person feels rejected, when a person feels abandoned, when a person feels confused, then the Yetzer Hara is able to take them from all the way up here. He's able to quickly get them to cut all the way, all the lines, easy pass, fast pass, and to pull them to the lowest level possible because they are vulnerable and they'll do anything, they'll do the worst things possible. Says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, take a look. The Gemara, the Pasuk says, Vayar ha'am ki boshesh Moshe laredet minahar. The people saw that Moshe was late. Okay? He told them, I'm coming down in 6 hours. What he meant was SY time. No, I'm kidding. What he meant was 6 hours tomorrow. Right? But they thought it was 6 hours today. They miscalculated. So they came to the brother Aharon and they said, get up and do it for us a God to walk before us. Ki zeh Moshe ha'ish. Because this man Moshe that took us out of Egypt, lo yada'anu mehayalo. We don't know what's up with him. We don't know where he is. We don't know where Moshe went. And therefore, we need you, Aharon, to make us a new God. And now we know that the word zeh in Hebrew, is always pointing. Zeh means this. As an example, when we say matzah zo, this matzah, you're supposed to point at the matzah. When you say maror zu, when you say this maror, this bitter thing, you're supposed to point at your mother-in-law. No, I'm kidding. You're supposed to point at the maror, right? Whenever you say zeh, as an example, the Jewish people, zeh eli ve'anvehu, this is my God. They were pointing, so to speak, at HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Here they say ki zeh Moshe ha'ish, because this Moses, who are they pointing at? HaChodesh hazeh lachem, this new month. God showed them the new moon. He was pointing. Zeh, if it's here in front of me, I could use the word zeh. The people say, Zeh Moshe ha'ish. Where is he? That you're pointing to him and saying him, this Moses. And our rabbis come and say, says Rashi, Kemin demut Moshe hera lahem asatan. Satan came and showed them an image of Moses. Shenosim oto ba'avir rekia hashamayim. That they are carrying Moshe Rabbeinu in a coffin. The angels, the Satan showed them a false fake image of Moshe and his funeral in the heavens with the angels carrying his body. And this is what the people meant when they said, Zeh, this Moses, look, we see him dead. And when the Jews saw Moshe, their leader, their everything, their life, the guy who took them out of Egypt, the guy who did the plagues, the guy who split the sea, and all of a sudden he's dead, the Jews felt alone. The Jews felt abandoned. The Jews had de'aga. The Jews had worry, anxiety, yeush, depression, rejected. And when a person feels alone, when a person feels like that, when a person feels that they are in this lost realm and life is just helpless, they are able to be taken and they are so vulnerable, and the Yetzer Hara can pull them down and do the worst things possible. And this is true with the Yetzer Hara pulling someone down, and this is true with a bad influence pulling someone down. How many times there's cases where a boy or girl in the school feel rejected. They feel rejected by one of the staff, by one of the teachers, their parent. They said something to them, and now they're alone. And now they feel like I'm all alone and there's no one there. And all of a sudden this boy or girl could go out, just there you go. Great, Jewish, kosher, proud, respectful. And they'll go in one moment and they'll do the worst possible thing. And they'll be told to do drugs. They'll be told to come smoke these things. And they'll be taken, not slowly, try a little bit of a drink, a little bit of alcohol, do a little bit of this, a joule, electric. No. They'll go from here all the way to the hardest drugs, the worst possible things. You know how that happens? Because when a person feels abandoned, they're confused, they can fall in one shot. All of the rules go out the window. What happened to Yeshu? Our rabbis tell us in the Gemara, Yeshu, Acher, the guy who went off the path, Oto Aish, right? The founder of Christianity, father of Christianity. He was once upon a time a Jew, right? How did he go off the path? How did Yeshu fall? One day he was with his rabbi. The Gemara tells us the story. He was with his rabbi. They went together to an inn, and at the inn, they were there, and the rabbi compliments the innkeeper, the hostess. He says to his student, "How nice is this innkeeper?" Now Yeshu, the student, thought that the rabbi was talking about her looks. So he's like, I don't know, Rabbi. I give her a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 on a good day. Her eyes a little bit. And the rabbi looks at the student and says, "What? You thought I'm talking about her looks? You disgusting, you sick mind, you pervert." He takes out the shofar, and the rabbi blows the shofar, which was a sign of, anyone know? Excommunication. Cherem. Back then, that's how things worked. Your student upset you, you blew out a shofar, and the student was out. You excommunicated the student. Today, it's the opposite. Today, if the student does something wrong, then he excommunicates the teacher, and he puts the rabbi in cherem, and now he blackmails the rabbi and badmouths the rabbi, and the rabbi's out, and the teacher's no good, and everyone gangs up against the teacher. But back then, people had respect for elders, for authority. The rabbi puts the kid in cherem, excommunicated. Okay? Well, the kid feels bad. So he comes a few weeks later, he says, "Rabbi, I'm sorry." Rabbi didn't accept. He wanted to make sure the kid was sincere. A few weeks later, the kid came again. "Rabbi, I'm sorry." Rabbi, no. Finally, the third time, the rabbi said to himself, "When he comes again, I'm going to accept him." But this time, unfortunately, the student came, and the rabbi was in the middle of Shema. The rabbi is saying Shema, and the student comes, he says, "Rabbi, I'm sorry." And the rabbi's, kavana. And the student says, "All right, I'm out of here." And he leaves, and he starts his own religion. How does that happen? The Rebbe upset you, so what do? You start your own religion? You go, get a new Rebbe. Get a new rabbi. Go to a different shul. Go to a different yeshiva. No. When I get rejected, when a person is falling and a person feels alone, they are able to go from up here, the highest possible level, to fall to the lowest possible, impossible thing to imagine. Who would have ever thought, start a new religion? Because of the one because when you're vulnerable, when you're lonely, Yitzhak could take you and pull you down very, very fast. There's no rules anymore. It doesn't have to be one step at a time. When we're in a decline, how careful a person has to be, says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, to make sure that if they're ever rejected, if they're ever in a decline, if they're ever in the state of limbo, to make sure to catch themselves, not to let the fall get to them. Because if it gets to us, if we let the depression get to us, we'll find ourselves doing the worst things. God forbid, to make sure that the people around us, not to let them feel too rejected. Sometimes a spouse could say something that's hurtful to their spouse. A parent could say something hurtful to their child. And the spouse, who's usually very faithful, very loyal, will never do something like that to cheat on their spouse. But when we feel hurt, something was said, an insult was made, a remark was thrown across the room, and the spouse says, "Yeah, that's how you feel about me." They'll go up from here, and they'll go do the worst possible sin against their spouse. How does that happen? That only happens when a person is rejected. A person's confused. How careful we have to be not to reject the people around us, not to reject our Talmidim, not to reject our children. God forbid they come, we find out they did something that's inappropriate. They did something that was wrong. They made a mistake. How careful we have to be to make sure that we give them the rebuke, at the same time making them feel like they're belonging, like they're still welcome, they're still a part of it. Because if we say, get out of here, God forbid they could go out and they could do the most heinous things in the world, the scariest things, when a person feels like they're a failure. The Jewish people were saru maher min haderech. How do you fall so fast? Says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, because they felt abandoned, they felt alone by Moshe. Very important not to let ourselves fall like that, not to lose our sense of self-worth, not to let our image be diminished, to always remember how capable we are, even if we mess up. Because sometimes we mess up, we do a small sin, and then the Yetzer Hara will come and say, look at you, you're disgusting. This is what you do. This is your thank you to Hashem. That's how you act, right? And then what do? We feel like we're so bad, and then he'll get us to do a sin 10 times worse. Right? You know, there's an amazing story with Shaul HaMelech. Take a look. Shaul, we know, was the first king. We often view Shaul as a failure, but we have to remember Shaul was a very, very, very big tzaddik, very powerful guy. God chose him to be the first king. Very humble, a lot of great qualities. If Shaul was here today, he'd destroy us all. He was the best. Shaul was sent on a mission to go destroy Amalek, from the biggest to the youngest. Everything in between, sheep, animals, everything. And Shaul goes out, he kills everyone except he keeps the sheep alive. Keeps the sheep alive, keeps the king alive. And God is very angry at Shaul for doing this. He comes to Shmuel, the prophet, and he says, we made a mistake in investing in this guy. He's a failure. We have to get rid of him. Nichamti, God says. Very scary word. I regret having picked Shaul. So Shmuel prays all night long and he says, God, please forgive him, give him another chance, etc. And God says, nope, he's out. So now Shmuel wakes up in the morning and he has to go give Shaul, he has to deliver the sad news. So he goes, he says, Shaul, and Shaul comes back, victorious, all excited, and he sees Shmuel, he says, Shmuel, we did it, baby! Yeah, Shmuel, we're the World Series champions! And Shmuel says, how did it go? He says, great. Did everything that you said. It was beautiful. He says, really? Yeah, you did everything that I said. What's that sheep that I hear in the background? I hear the sheep. Right? What is that? He says, oh, well, the people wanted to bring a korban. Nothing of it, just a korban to Hashem. Instead of killing them there, we'll kill them there. He says, yeah, but I thought I told you to kill them. He says, yeah, we're going to kill them. We're going to kill them anyways. Just instead of there, we're going to kill them in the Mizbeach. It's the same thing. He says, but I thought we were very clear on this. Nobody lives. No, but the people really wanted. And then Shmuel says, well, let me tell you what God said. God says, you think I need his korbanot? I need a leader. I need someone that's going to know what to do, what's right and wrong, when someone's going to listen to me. And therefore, tell Shaul that he's fired. And Shaul says, listen, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, okay? Just give me another chance. And Shmuel says, I'm sorry, Shaul, it's too late for that. And he turns around and he starts walking away. And Shaul grabs Shmuel's robe. No, don't leave me. And as he grabs the robe and Shmuel walks, the robe rips. And Shmuel turns around and says, so too Hashem has ripped the malchut from your family. And Shmuel turns around and as he's walking away, Shaul says, please, Shmuel, don't leave me. Come back and at least bow with me in front of the people. It was common back then after a battle, after a victory, they would come and thank Hashem, the king with the prophet. Come and thank Hashem together with me. Just at least save me face. At least show as if nothing happened. And Shmuel says, all right, let's go. And asked Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, are you kidding me? How pathetic can you be, Shaul? This is what you care about, to save face? A little bit of honor? Imagine a guy gets fired, and the guy's like, all right, listen, boss, just do me a favor. No one knows why you called me into your office. As far as they're concerned, they still think that I'm working here. Just do me a favor. Could you walk me out with your arm around my back? Just make believe we're still tight. Make believe nothing happened. You kidding me? That's what you care about? A little bit of kavod? You just lost the job of a lifetime? What's Shaul doing? It says Rucham Shmulevis is not pathetic at all. Shaul is brilliant. Shaul realizes what we've been speaking about today. That if a person, God forbid, is depressed, yeush, they can fall to the lowest possible level. And Shaul realized that right now I am vulnerable. Right now I'm falling. I just lost the greatest job ever. I just messed up big. And I'm falling. And Shaul knows there's one thing I have to do right now. I gotta catch my fall. If I messed up, if I'm a little bit lost, quickly even it out, plateau. Don't let it fall more. Because when a person's falling, they could easily justify, well, I already fell, I may as well. I already messed up, I may as well. I'll start next year. I'll do tshuva, I'll start over next year. Right? How many times we sin a day or a week after Yom Kippur, and they're like, all right, I already messed up. All right, I'll just wait till next year. We'll try again next year. And then they have now, the Yetzer Hara did. He just gave you in your mind carte blanche to mess up the rest of the year. Because what? Person misses one daf of the daf yomi. All right, I'll start next masechet. Too late. I missed the boat. I'll start next cycle. Right? Shaul realizes I got to catch myself. I have to quickly make sure, even though I've messed up, to minimize the mess up, to minimize the fall, not to let that mess up pull me all the way down. You think about someone in Shaul's scenario. Very easy for Shaul to have turned around and said, you know what? Yeah, I'm out. I'll show you out. To become a villain and to go do avodah zarah. I'm reminded, I was a big, Marvel fan when I was a kid growing up. And Spider-Man, if you've ever seen the Spider-Man with the Green Goblin, right? So how does the Green Goblin become the wicked villain that he is? The Green Goblin becomes a Green Goblin. He was once a regular professor. He was a good guy. But they tried kicking him out of his own company. And what does he say? I'm out. I'll show you who's out, right? I'll show you who's out. And he goes and he becomes a Green Goblin. He becomes a villain. When a person feels like they're out, they can go and do the most horrible things. The miracle of Shaul was that he only lost the malchut and nothing more. A regular person would have given it all up. He would have thrown it all away. I'll show you, I'm out. Start his own religion, start his own sect in Judaism, make a new Beit HaMikdash. I don't need Shemuel. Shemuel, you're out. We're gonna kill the Navi. The greatness of Shaul HaMelech is that he only loses the Malchut and nothing else. And he remained a committed Jew. Can you imagine? He came back the next day, he put tefillin, he still loved Hashem. After God says you're out, he still loved God. You know how Shaul did it? Because he says, Shmuel, I need you to come bow with me. Wasn't pathetic. Shaul realizes, I'm falling, but I gotta catch the fall. I gotta make sure it doesn't take me too low. I have to make sure I don't go too far down the road. Please give me some honor. Remind me I am worthy. I do have self-worth. I am great. I still need a little bit of honor and kavod, Shaul, to help me stay positive. And so this is our avodah, my friends. This is our job. This is our job to always, like Shaul said, kabedeni na neged ziknei ami. To remind ourselves, even if we mess up, and we always mess up, we're going to sin. We're going to do bad things in our lives. But when we do, to remind ourselves, I'm not a nothing. I'm not a nobody. I'm still holy. I'm still precious. I'm still amazing. Sometimes our spouse hurts us. Not to allow that rejection to get to us, because then we could do very things that we'll regret later. My spouse still loves me. Yes, they said that. They cursed. they said those things that were very hurtful, but they didn't really mean it. They were talking out of emotion. It wasn't real. They still love me. The Jewish people are able to think that Moshe is dead. They feel abandoned, saru maher min haderech, and they fall very, very fast, very, very dangerous. We should be zocher always. We have moments in life that there's anxiety, that there's stress, that there's depression. We have to quickly be able to gather and quickly pick up ourselves. Person falls, it's okay to fall, but quickly get up, quickly. Get up and rub it off. And continue. It's okay. I messed up. But let not one mess up turn into 1,000. Let not one wasted hour turn into a 1,000 years. Yeah, that is our job. We should be zocher always to give ourselves and the people around us, our children, our students, our friends, our family, our talmidim, the chizuk, the encouragement. Remind them you are worthy, you are amazing. They did something wrong. Always just keep it excited, keep it positive, keep them in the fold, keep them in the loop. And this way we'll have a chance of getting back and coming back. Okay, everybody, we'll stop over here. Hope you have an amazing, amazing Sunday. Amazing week ahead, everybody. Shavua Tov. God willing, we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.